Oh boy, has it been an interesting weekend. Anthropic spent the week fighting with Pete Hegseth and the Department of War over what their product is going to be used for. Their hard line was no mass surveillance of citizens in the United States and no autonomous weapons of war. And then shortly after the United States declared that they were no longer working with Anthropic and then they were a supply chain risk, which is dubious at best, in comes OpenAI and says, hey, we're willing to strike a deal. But what's interesting about this story is twofold. Before this deal is struck, Sam Altman apparently goes to the Trump administration and says, hey, I don't know about this supply chain designation. Like, I don't think you should do that. And then also says in this article that they have the same red line. Red line is no mass surveillance of United States citizens and no autonomous weapons of war. But I want to remind you, how we got here is that Anthropic learned that Claude was used in the Maduro raid after it happened through an inquiry through Palantir. And so some quick TDLR, Palantir is what gets Claude involved in the government to begin with, in the Department of War. And so they had the guidelines during this raid that it was no mass surveillance of United States citizens and no autonomous weapons. But this raised some questions. And so my question is, even if you are OpenAI, who is getting absolutely destroyed today on Reddit, and you have the same red lines of mass surveillance and autonomous weapons, does it matter if the government can seemingly blow past those guardrails anyway? And if these sort of stories interest you, might I interest you in reading this book, which has a follow-up book coming out later this fall. But you should, if this is interesting to you, you should absolutely read this one.